This video is supported by Rocket Railways for all your model railway needs. Please check the link in the description below. This is a box I've been waiting for quite some time. Let's get her opened up and have a look what's inside. I'm really quite excited about this. Well, you'll know from the title of this video what is actually in this box, but I have yet to actually see them. Irish Railway Models have just released their Guinness Keg Wagons, and whenever I got that 071 logo from Sam, well, I needed something to have it pull, and the Guinness Keg Wagons seemed to be the most obvious choice. So I went for a full rake of these wagons. The Guinness Keg Wagon was something that was seen right across the Irish network right up until the early 2000s, whenever they stopped all transportation by rail. But up until then, certainly they would have been running these keg wagons from Dublin to Belfast, and then it was distributed on from Adelaide Street throughout the province to the different pubs and restaurants and hotels. Each of these wagons, there's 2 in each box, giving a full rake of 8. So let's put them onto the workbench and we'll take a closer look. If you're unfamiliar with Irish Railway Models, just think a Cura scale, because essentially a Cura scale is their British wing, but it all started with Irish Railway Models. And from the outset they set about a standard of workmanship which was second to none, and I'm sure if you've seen any of their Cura scale products, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's another reason why I wanted to go for these keg wagons over something else more generic for the Irish logos. Right, let's get into this. There, as I said before, there are 8 wagons in total, each with individual numbers. So on initial opening, we obviously have a little bit of information with regards to the actual wagon. So essentially the wagon is built from container flats in which then the Guinness kegs were actually placed upon before being shipped out. In most cases they ran as standalone Guinness keg trains, but they could also be run in freight, sort of mixed freight trains as well. Oh my word, look at these. Look at these. Exceptional detail once again. And here we are. Aren't they amazing? They just look, they're incredible, so they are. I love the, I mean, I knew it was going to be silver kegs on them, but they just look so striking in those cages. Let's take a closer look at one of these wagons. As you can see there, I've removed the crates and the kegs from this particular one, and it reveals a couple of things to me. One, we'll come to the detail of the wagon in a minute, but initially what we're looking at now is essentially a container flat, and to me that's quite clever on 2 counts. One is that you can run a rake of wagons maybe partially full, partially empty, you know, which adds a little bit of added interest to your running session. Secondly, I guess if you didn't want to run these just as a complete Guinness keg, you have the opportunity there of removing those kegs, and by purchasing a container you could place that on 1 or 2 of these wagons too. So it just adds that little added dimension, and I guess more value for money for what you're actually purchasing. But we'll look down closer at the actual wagon itself. Well, obviously we have our NEM pocket with tension lock coupling, but also included with each set are a set of coupling bars, and you get 4 of those bars per box, so 2 for each wagon, and that will allow you to set up a fixed rake to this train, which obviously adds to the running capabilities of it. In addition to that, it also included in the detail pack is a vacuum pipe which can be added on at either end. But also, going back to what I mentioned with regards to changing this over to a container wagon, you also get a protection bar, 2 of those, 1 for each wagon, and these are security bars for containers essentially, and they will slot down into 2 little holes just at the end of the wagon. So they've thought of everything really, to be honest, and there's enough detail there just to enhance that model. Moving on from the couplings and the accessories, the wagon also features sprung loaded buffers. Now this may well not show up that well on the camera here, but another interesting point of note with regards to these wagons are the axle boxes, and they're actually rotating axle boxes. And if I move the wagon carefully and slowly, perhaps you can't see those, but again, it's just another little added detail that enhances the overall look of the wagon. Again, with regards to the accessory pack, there are additional replacement axle boxes there should one ping off and you lose it. There's 16 of them in that accessory pack, so you're never going to run short. Let's have a look along the outside edge of the wagon. We can clearly see that the transfers have all been very well placed on. They're crisp and clear, and in actual fact you can pretty much read absolutely every little bit of text and numbering that is on them. We've got nice detail in the inclusion of some form of wheel, which I'm assuming either switches on or switches on some form of hydraulics to the wagon. We're sort of getting into the realms of the unknown with regards to how these wagons were set up, but once again, a nice added detail. If we flip over the wagon, we can see the detailing that has been included underneath. It is fairly limited, but it is crisp and clean, and it looks really smart. The obvious notable things are the vac cylinders in underneath there. But overall, it's a beautiful little wagon. It's finely detailed. Certainly the lattice work with regards to the framing of the wagon itself is, you know, it just sets it off in my mind. The red oxide finish to the overall wagon also it's quite striking, and you know, with a little bit of weathering would really just sort of set it apart. Well, we obviously haven't looked at the actual kegs and crates yet, and there are 5 of them that get included with each wagon, and they just clip down onto their housings there. If you are looking to take these off, you know, proceed with extreme care, because they are only very fine little clips, and you know, any sort of excessive force could well damage them. But they sit down like so, and then each crate has a full set of kegs to go into it, and these are just a lovely moulded plastic, but there's plenty of detail on those. I mean, you can actually see each individual hole there where the handle would be for the carrier to maneuver those around in the bar, or you know, whenever they're being offloaded on a lorry or that. You know, they are beautifully finished. Another fine aspect of this model is the fact that these kegs are removable from their crates. Again, it gives you the opportunity of running the train as an empties, or as, you know, a partially full train. but equally it gives you the opportunity to use some of those kegs maybe in a diorama away from the train as it's being loaded or unloaded. I'm of the understanding that Irish Railway Models will be releasing sets of these kegs as individual items, as an additional accessory pack, so you would be able to build up a yard scene with lots of these kegs in place. Again, another nice touch for the model. Overall, I'm incredibly impressed with this wagon. I had no doubt that Irish Railway Models were going to produce something quite outstanding. Their track record speaks for themselves, and indeed, again, if you don't know their Irish branding but know the Acura Scale brand, you will know that detail and perfection is something that they pride themselves upon. So it only leaves us to stick these wagons onto the track, and we'll connect it up to that locomotive, and we'll give them a little bit of a run out on the layout. Wow, that's incredible. Really is. Another fantastic product. I hope you'll agree that these will make a superb addition to the layout. They do look great behind that locomotive running around it. There's no doubt about it. There are a few squeaky wheels in places, but there's nothing that a little drop of oil won't rectify. But in terms of running, how they look, everything else is faultless, absolutely faultless. Irish Railway models have done it again. They've pulled another one out of the bag, and I'm more than happy with these. So it's on with a lot more playing and running in of these beautiful wagons. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you would like to comment, please do so in the description below. If you're not already a subscriber and would like to be one, please click that subscribe button, and I will chat to you all again soon. Take care now. Bye.